What do you think the Spurs should do with Kawhi?
Well, you wait until the season is over and then evaluate everything this summer because obviously, you know what, listen, you're in a position where you can re-up him, the max $217 million deal or what have you. You might be a bit reticent about that until you make sure everything is ironed out, not just in terms of his health, but in terms of his willingness and interest in remaining in San Antonio. Those are the kind of things that you have to take into consideration. But you certainly should have rushed to judgment in regards to anything like that. If he were healthy, would any of this be an issue? The likelihood is that the answer is no. And so when I look at it from that perspective, along with the fact that he's under contract for you through next season, there's no rush. There's no level of urgency involving anything. The only way I would consider trading him is if he said to me he wanted out. If he doesn't want out, I'm not letting him go if I'm the San Antonio Spurs because he's a superstar in this league, arguably one of the top 3 or 4 players in the world. And he's in the market that is San Antonio. You don't get players like that every year. You're lucky you had David Robinson. You're even more luckier that you got Tim Duncan. And now you landed Kawhi Leonard because the Indiana Pacers were stupid enough to trade the rights to him to you years ago. You hold on to him for dear life unless he tells you emphatically he wants out. That's the only consideration under which you should think about moving him. Other than that, not at all.
Ready for this? The Spurs should trade Kawhi Leonard and they should tank the rest of the season. How do you like that? They should look for a lottery pick. With their luck, they'll wind up with DeAndre Ayton the way they wound up with Tim Duncan. That's the way the Spurs' luck works. Look, the problem is this right now. And by the way, if Kawhi came back, then all bets are off. If he was already back and playing and if he's going to come back and get his legs under him and they're going to face Houston in the first round, I'm here to tell you that a fully healthy Kawhi, if he gets his basketball legs under him, I don't know if there's enough time, but if he does, on a Popovich-coached team, the way LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing, the way Popovich has been coaching these guys, except for Aldridge, no one's averaging 30 minutes a game. It's been amazing, maybe the best coaching job of his career. They could knock out, if you're Houston, you want to see that? But if he doesn't come back, then here's what you're left with, guys. Look, the talk around the league, Stephen A., and you've intimated it on this show, is that it's not about health. It's about his relationship with the Spurs. If that's the case, you got to move him. Because if his uncle or whomever is in charge and is at that kind of loggerheads with the organization, that Popovich basically sends messages to Kawhi through the media, hey, if he's not back by this date, he's not going to play this year. We have to think about whether to play him this year. He did that like a month ago. If it's at that point, how do you repair that relationship? You got to move. To me, that means Kawhi or his uncle, someone, wants out. So instead of waiting until you're not going to get anything or get much less, get what you can now, which is a whole lot. It could be a king's ransom. And if he's not healthy, if this is really true, he's just physically not ready to come back, what the hell is going on? That's a mysterious injury. How do you know he'll ever be physically the same? But I don't believe that's the case.
Max.
I believe that this relationship is damaged, and I think the Spurs can get a king's ransom for him now. And if I were them, that's what I would do in this offseason. I would move Kawhi Leonard and look forward to the next era without him.
Max, that sounds incredibly rash and pessimistic. The Spurs still have another year to, as you said, repair this relationship. If that's the problem, the relationship's the problem. They've got another year, and then they get to money whip him better than any other team in the league can do. They have all the leverage in trying to win this relationship over. And the history of superstar trades, it's littered with wrecks along the way. Shaq, whoever it may be, you get quarters, you get change on the dollar for, as you point out, one of the best players in the league. But what do you say? You can't do that?
Yeah, you can't do that. You're going to have to target another star player that you get back.
It just so rarely happens.
That could result in a star player. The problem is this, guys. You're right, Will. They have another year of him. Another year of him. So every day that ticks by after, I'm not talking about doing anything now, obviously trade that. I'm talking about in the offseason. Every day that ticks off, his value goes down, particularly if it's believed around the league that he's out of there. Right now, in this upcoming offseason, you'll have time to actually make a deal where you're maximizing what you get back. If I thought that relationship was in a place where, all the signals being sent is they want out. Otherwise, why wouldn't he be back? Unless he's truly hurt in a mysterious way where it'd be difficult to anticipate what he'd be like when he got back. Because he's supposed to be back from this injury already. Kawhi Leonard, I think, when healthy, is the second best player in basketball to LeBron James. But he hasn't been that for the Spurs this year. And I'm beginning to seriously doubt whether he'll be that for the Spurs again.